Canada, it's the end of your Monday. It is the last word bakes on things. Thank you for joining me this afternoon and evening. If you've had a great day, then I'm happy. I hope you did. Oh, this is a big one. There's something about to go off here in this country, and it's going to be bad. And the Toronto Sun actually did a great job of covering this over the weekend. I saw an article about this, a little bit about whether this government actually has things under control with this budget. And after reading the Toronto Sun's breakdown of Mark Carney's Canada Strong budget, one thing is very clear here. Ottawa is spending like a drunk tourist with a stolen credit card. Carney's first budget isn't just bad. It's actually catastrophic. It's exactly what the Parliamentary Budget Officer predicted it might become. It's a betrayal of every taxpayer, every saver, and every Canadian family trying to make it through the month without maxing out their own visa. It's a declaration that this government doesn't believe in discipline or accountability or even reality anymore. And while Mark Carney smiles on camera and reassures us that the numbers will all work, while also leaving out what it would cost us to buy those submarines that he did those pressers for, to keep the budget below 100 billion deficit, he works in a fantasy land, a place where debt never comes due and taxpayers never run out of money. Let's go.
Welcome to Bakes on Things.
Welcome back to Bakes on Things. I'm Chris Baker. It's the last word for your Monday. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, join the conversation on all of this mess down below. This government is borrowing $80 billion this year alone. New debt, $80 billion. That's not investment. That's not stimulus. That's desperation, and it's all so Carney can pretend that the economy is resilient. Every week, taxpayers are coughing up over $1 billion just to pay the interest on that mountain of debt that we've been put into over the last 10 years by this Liberal government. $1 billion a week. That's enough to build a new hospital every single week. But instead, it's going to bond managers on Bay Street, probably Brookfield. The irony is really actually stunning here. Carney, the supposed man of the people, is funneling billions in public cash straight into the pockets of the very financiers he once worked beside at the Bank of England and the Bank of Canada. And yet, the mainstream media won't call it out. You liberals won't call it out. And yet you know it's happening. It's right there in the writing. And the insult goes even deeper. That $1 billion a week bleed out means every dollar you pay in federal sales tax is gone before it ever hits a school, a clinic, or a pothole crew. Ottawa isn't governing anymore. It's servicing debt. And every new dollar borrowed today guarantees even higher taxes tomorrow. This is what economic enslavement of a society looks like. The public paying tribute to bondholders while politicians take victory laps for investing in the future. Did you know that every new baby born in Canada this year will be saddled with $3,500 in government debt to pay back through their lifetime the moment they're born? Unbelievable. Back in September, the Parliamentary Budget Officer warned about all of this. He's a nonpartisan watchdog, basically screamed fire is happening in a crowded theater, and nobody seemed to really listen. Yeah, there were a few interviews with Vashi and so on, but nobody really cared. He called the federal debt unsustainable. He said the path we were on is stupefying and shocking. Something is going to break, he said. When the country's official fiscal referee uses language like that, it's not politics. It's a red alert warning that we should be taking very seriously. But Carney's crew didn't just ignore it. They tried to redefine what unsustainable even means. In their world, as long as the PowerPoint looks pretty, the fire isn't actually burning that hot. And what did Mark Carney do in response to what the Parliamentary Budget Officer said? Well, he brushed it all off, got in a plane, and went elsewhere. He spun it, and he came up with semantic gymnastics about balancing the operating budget. That's just bureaucratic voodoo, separating operating from capital to make the numbers smell a little bit better. It's like saying you're broke, but you're fine because your grocery budget balances this week, even though your mortgage just went through the final stages of foreclosure. Canadians aren't fooled by this. I hope they're not. Liberals seem to be, but I think people are waking up. They're furious because when the government starts lying with math, it's the people who pay with reality. And it is time that especially the liberal supporters start waking up. I don't even care if you vote conservative. You need to wake up to these problems because these problems are real and your country is being destroyed. Under Justin Trudeau, the promise was that debt as a share of the economy would go down. That's what he promised. Under Carney, that guardrail is already completely gone. It's not in this budget. He's quietly replaced it with something called the deficit to GDP ratio. Now, that's just political trickery. That's all that is. It's trickery at its finest. When the real numbers look bad, you just invent new math. By shifting the goalposts, Carney can claim progress while the debt balloon itself swells faster than the economy does. It's fiscal alchemy, is what it is. It's turning lead into gold with a spreadsheet and a smirk. And it's fool's gold. Carney's plan is to add $324 billion to our national debt by 2030, double what even Justin Trudeau had set out. Think about that for a second. You've got a career banker who's supposed to manage money better than Trudeau, former central bank governor, now writing the biggest credit card bill in Canadian history. It's economic malpractice dressed up as prudence. The rest of the world will look at those numbers and wonder if Canada has lost its mind. Because it has. It has Trump derangement syndrome, and that's who they're blaming for all of this. Under Carney, we have lost our mind as a country. There is no question about it. The Trump derangement syndrome, leaving out the submarines like we talked about this morning so that the deficit doesn't get to 100 billion. Are you kidding me? Carney keeps throwing around slogans like spending less to invest more. But we all know it's BS. The Liberals said it all in 2015 the same way. That's not policy, it's just advertising copy. He claims he'll save $60 billion over 5 years. But guess what? He's spending $38 billion more this year. So how is that going to help? This year alone, $38 billion. The numbers don't lie, but he does. You can't spend more and call it savings unless you think Canadians are just too tired or too broke to actually notice what you're doing. This isn't management, it's manipulation. It's manipulation like, oh, I don't know, getting people to cross the floor just as the budget comes out. The government will spend $581 billion this year, climbing to $644 by 2029. Those aren't future efficiencies. Those are compounding disasters. And because the supposed savings are scheduled years from now, long after the next election, conveniently, it's nothing but fiscal fiction that he's not going to have to worry about. It's the same old liberal diet plan. Announce the cut today so it looks good, binge on spending tomorrow, and hope that the voters forget all about it. Only this time, the binge itself threatens to collapse the entire system. It's why you leave out $100 billion in sub purchases from a budget where you were just in the sub factory trying to buy these damn things. Remember, Trudeau's modest deficit promise back in 2015, remember that? Remember when he inherited actually a surplus? He said he'd get it back to surplus. He'd balance the budget in 4 years. Instead, he doubled the debt, ballooned the bureaucracy, and left Carney a ticking time bomb. The problem is, Carney didn't fix it. Didn't even try. And what's Carney doing now with that bomb? Well, he's lighting it up with a sparkler and calling it progress. The Liberals have learned nothing. And it is clear in this budget that they've learned nothing, except how to rebrand failure as compassion. When you spend money you don't have on programs you can't even manage, it's not generosity. It's theft from your children's future. Remember, $3,500 per baby. We're now at the stage where the government spends more on interest payments than it transfers to the province's health care. Let that one sink right into your world right now. The people who are supposed to heal Canadians are getting less money than the people who hold our debt. That's not fiscal management. That's moral bankruptcy. And by 2029, 13 cents of every tax dollar will vanish into debt service. That's the moment when every Canadian realizes the government isn't the safety net anymore. You are, and instead the government is the hole that all the money is falling into. This is a real problem. This is something that all Canadians must wake up to right now. This is red alert time. Carney isn't stupid. He knows exactly what he's doing here, but not in the good way. He's keeping the numbers fuzzy and the slogans shiny so that he can convince Canadians everything is going to be okay, that we're investing in our future. So just look the other way. Look, a floor crosser. Look at that. Oh, there's problems in the Conservative Party. Look at that. Pierre Poilievre's leadership. That's bad. Hey, mainstream media, if you want some more money, let's pump that up. But this isn't resilience. It's the economic equivalent of painting over mold. He's borrowing billions more, inflating the bureaucracy, and rewriting fiscal guardrails so he can keep driving the country straight off the cliff. And then he blames global headwinds or Donald Trump when we hit the bottom. It's deception wrapped up in complete jargon. And it's working because Canadians are just too exhausted over the last decade to read the fine print in this thing, not to mention the fact that it's pretty much 1,000 pages. Carney's greatest skill isn't economics at all. It's narrative control. He knows that as long as he sounds calm and competent, people will assume, well, this guy must have a plan. He seems like a grandpa. But confidence without competence is a scam. That's what it is. And what's he doing right now? Well, it's the biggest confidence trick in our nation's history. One that will leave every taxpayer holding the bag when the facade finally collapses. And ladies and gentlemen, it absolutely will collapse. So this is your wake-up call. You need to share this with every liberal, and you need to have a strong conversation. Tell them, I don't care who you vote for, but it can't be the liberals next time. We are at the brink. Our credit rating agencies are watching. Our bond markets and the bond markets around the world are watching. And when they lose faith in Canada's finances, when interest rates rise again because investors stop believing the fairy tale, it won't be Mark Carney who pays. Not at all. He'll get on a plane and he'll go back to New York. It's going to be you, your mortgage, your groceries, your taxes, your standard of living. This is not abstract. It's not theoretical. It's the direct line between political deceit and personal despair. The cracks are already showing. Higher rents, lower growth, shrinking opportunities for each and every one of you. When government debt spirals, it drags everyone down into the spiral with it. This isn't just fiscal mismanagement, Canada. It's economic sabotage. Carney's pretending it's an investment in our future. But the truth is, he's mortgaging the future to protect his political image today. When even the Parliamentary Budget Officer says something's going to break, it's not hyperbole. It's prophecy. And unless Canadians wake up today, right now, this very moment, it will break us. I'm hoping that you're getting this. I'm hoping that you're going to listen. I know there's liberals that listen to this show. They love to get into the comments and yell about PP. I get it. But you got to open your eyes to reality now. Because no, Mark Carney is not saving you. It's not responsible leadership. And now you're going to get to own it. You get to own every hospital we could have built with that $1 billion a week. You get to own every Canadian family that's paying more just to tread water. And you get to own the legacy of being the prime minister who turned the Canadian dream into a credit card bill, because Mark Carney will be gone and it'll be you that owns it all. Because leadership isn't about smooth speeches and catchy slogans. It's about discipline, courage, and truth, and sometimes getting mad. That's why Pierre does it. Carney's got none of those. All he's got is spin, slogans, and you used to blame Pierre Poilievre for slogans. What do you think Canada Strong is? This is not Canada Strong. This is Canada sold out. This is what it looks like. And when the day of reckoning comes, and it will, when the numbers can't be massaged and the bills can't be hidden anymore because they can't even be paid, Canadians will finally realize that this wasn't miscalculation, it was manipulation. Because when even the budget watchdog cries fire and the captain keeps serving the cocktails anyway, it's not just a leadership failure. It's a national betrayal. And if you don't think he served the cocktails, take a look at the party they held right after the budget was announced. The first government in our history to hold a post-budget party. Something is very, very wrong. Thanks for watching Bakes on Things, the last word for your Monday. Tomorrow we've got our Remembrance Day special. It will be in the morning as our first sip. It will be the only episode of the day tomorrow as we respect our veterans and do not want to put anything else, especially about this government, on it. Although the episode itself does expose how terribly we treat our veterans. Tune in for that in the morning and have yourselves a great Monday night. And again, like, subscribe, share, and join the conversation down below. We'll see you tomorrow morning.